The following podcast topics are not for minor age listeners. Please take the time to skip to another podcast if your children are present. If you are an adult faint at heart or a victim, please be advised that discussions in this episode contain topics about SA and other conversations that may be triggering. Thank you.
Welcome back to The Betrayed. This is Gina Beck.
This is Drew Williams.
Thank you for listening, liking, commenting, and subscribing. We appreciate y'all, especially everybody over on Apple Podcasts and the other streaming platforms. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Stitcher, iHeart, all you guys. Thank you guys very much. Thank you for the continued support, the continued engagement, and the people that put the hashtag Banana Cats. Thank you guys.
How are you, Drew?
I'm all right, G. How are you?
I'm doing well. Excited to be back. It's been a minute.
Yeah, Gina's had a little bit of a rough year. I actually ended up going back in the hospital because of my issues, so we took a little bit of time off, but ready to get back at this.
I came across this and I just thought it was interesting because, as we say all the time, the weirdos can be anyone, right? So I thought this was interesting that multiple people were identified and suspected, child weirdos through Fort Carson during a joint operation. So Fort Carson, I guess 5 people were suspected of trying to meet up with minors for, dirty things, very explicit things. And among the suspects are 1 military member assigned to the 10th Special Forces Command and 4 civilians. None of the suspects were publicly identified in a news release from the Army on Wednesday. The news release adds the Department of the Army Criminal Investigation Division. I guess they conducted an online child exploitation operation in the Fort Carson area on March 17th and 18th. During the 2-day operation, special agents, along with agents from Homeland Security investigations, gained contact information and identification while the suspects were allegedly attempting to meet with an underage juvenile for, the bad stuff. Very explicit stuff. So news has reached out to multiple law enforcement agencies in the area, and they're trying to identify the suspects. The predators exist in the community, and they want to send the message that we will do whatever it takes to bring them to justice, said Special Agent in Charge Ryan O'Connor. So yes, things like that is just really serious, and they should definitely be identified. That's in a community. They're especially in a position of importance, right? Like that should be known information.
It's one of those things where, yeah, they need to be punished and they need to be removed from whatever they're doing, and they need to not have any of the benefits for serving.
Yeah, it's just really unfortunate to find things like that out, but just know that, as we always say, it can be anyone, and definitely, fight for information like this to be public.
Absolutely. This is a good segue into the one that I got, because this is proof again that it could be anyone, and I'm going to try and make this more of a regular thing. If you go to the description, you'll see related articles that maybe we didn't bring up in the actual discussion, but I just want people to see how regular this is and how this is not one political aisle, it's not one religion, it's not atheist, it's every group. They come from everywhere. So this was reported back on March 16th. Title was San Diego Teacher of the Year arrested for sexual misconduct with a child. A judge on Thursday, March 16th, decided the one-time San Diego Teacher of the Year accused of a sexual relationship with a 12-year-old student will be staying behind bars for now. 34-year-old Chula Vista resident Jacqueline Ma was arrested not once but 2 times when investigators uncovered 15 alleged child sex abuse, pornography, and other crimes. Ma was arrested last Tuesday by National City Police after a concerned parent suspected her child was possibly having an inappropriate relationship with his former teacher. In court in Chula Vista for a bail hearing on Thursday, the judge decided that the enhancement of house arrest was not enough to grant bail to Ma, saying that she is a danger to the community and, more important, the boy who is now 13 years old, whom she is accused of sexually abusing. In addition, National City Police say they discovered that Ma attempted to contact the victim after she made bail for the first arrest. Prosecutors have said that the teacher and the boy communicated via apps that were designed to delete messages beginning when the child, who is now 13, was 12. Later communication between the two occurred almost daily, according to investigators. Ma allegedly told the victim to delete the messages, and prosecutors said both asked for and sent inappropriate messages, including photographs and videos of herself. Prosecutors also alleged that Ma asked for sexual acts to be performed while using the messaging app. Ma was named one of 5 2022 to 2023 Teachers of the Year in an annual showcase of educators. In a profile about Ma announcing her award, Ma said, quote, she considers the relationship she maintains with her students her greatest accomplishment, close quote. She's being held at Las Colinas Detention Facility in Santee and faces 29 years in state prison if convicted on all charges. And I looked before we went live. There's been no updates, but I'm guessing that's just waiting for her actual court appearing or if she pleads guilty or something like that. I'll make sure to keep up on this one too. I try and keep tabs on this stuff. But if you're on YouTube or Rumble or Odyssey, you'll see the thumbnail. She looks like what you would consider a good teacher. She looks like she would be a good neighbor. Does not look like what the stereotype everyone expects, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yeah. An ordinary person with an ordinary job, especially one that's around children. Like I've said before, do people like this target these jobs in order to be in positions around children, or does this develop later on? Like it's such a crazy thing to think about.
It is crazy. And especially when you think, like, what was her quote? Something along the lines of, she considers her greatest accomplishment the relationship she maintains with her students. That's creepy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I want to wrap this up with one more final thought for myself, because I've been noticing this in the community, and it bugs the crap out of me. And me and Gina can't keep our mouth shut for very long. And I see this from both sides of the political aisle. It's always this, but what about this and that? Why aren't you focusing on that? Well, why can't we focus on all of it? Or you'll bring up, because I don't want to get into it, a specific celebrity that's getting accused of stuff, and then they'll be like, well, why don't you focus on the Epstein stuff? Well, how am I supposed to focus on the Epstein stuff? We're locked up just like everyone else, waiting for the actual data to get released. Why can't we focus on all of it? Why is there just this such narrow field of focus that we have to focus on one thing at a time? Because they're not going to get resolved instantly. Are we just going to sit around till one thing gets resolved and then go on to it? Like, it just makes absolutely no sense to me. And the sooner that we all realize that this is an issue we all need to come together on and put our differences aside, our petty differences, and actually focus on it, and maybe focus on our own communities that we actually can affect, instead of pointing the finger at a community that we're not even connected to. That's just my thoughts. And I'm sorry
And
about Lola
I
in the
100%
background.
agree. I 100% agree, though. I've heard that, and I've also saw that in a couple places as well. I mean, why can't people focus on multiple things at once? We do it every day. Imagine if law enforcement, detectives, FBI, whoever you want to take care of the cases, did things one at a time. They didn't ever before the Epstein case. They're not gonna during, and they're not gonna after. They do everything they can at once. That's why there's multiple departments and multiple people for these type of things. So the people that are working on the Epstein case are working on the Epstein case. Don't worry. And the people who are working on the other cases, they're gonna do their job and work on those. So we can definitely talk about and focus on multiple things. But that's like saying, oh, let's only focus on one missing child at a time.
Like I
When
said,
there's 10, yeah.
it lacks complete like rational critical thought. Like why would we focus just on one thing when there's a billion things going on at once? Yeah, I agree. You can like maybe focus on a handful of them, but this whole idea you can't point out one side without bringing up the other thing from something else at the exact. It's just weird to me. It's just counterproductive and weird.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to ask yourself, what can I do? You as a listener right now, or anybody in the world, just like, what can I do? And if you have an answer to that, then do it. If you don't have an answer, then focus on what you can do. Just like the people who are focused on this Epstein case, trust me, they're working. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we don't have all the information, but when we do get it, we'll talk about it.
Well said, G.
You too. That was great. Thank you for listening, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Until next time, Banana Cats.
Banana cats. Much love. Peace.